The Cardinals are back home. They've got a series going with the Padres tonight. Looks like there's a lot of empty seats. You could probably get a good steal of a deal at the ballpark on these games this week. And the weather, again, tomorrow night is not going to be too bad. Tonight certainly has been pretty nice around the St. Louis area. There's a look down to the Gateway Arch at this point. Now, there are changes coming. And we have a weather impact alert day coming up here. This is going to be as we head into Wednesday. We're thinking mainly Wednesday heading into the evening after the rush hour into the overnight hours. So why do we have a weather impact alert? Well, the potential's there for seeing some stronger storms. The winds are going to get gusty as we head into Wednesday. And we're talking 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, and that's outside of any thunderstorms. That doesn't have anything to do with the thunderstorms. That just has to do with the overall pattern and the approaching cold front. It'll get quite warm as warmth is pulled up ahead of that front along with more humid air. Dew points this afternoon drop back into the 40s. Incredible for this time of year. Not records, but incredible. It's the middle of June. But you add heat, humidity, breezy conditions at the surface, strong winds aloft, and you have the severe threat that increases by evening. Most likely, our greatest threat will come in the form of winds in some way, shape, or form. Now, if we have individual storms that begin early on, when they first develop, they probably will be capable of some large hail. But I think you're really going to transition into that threat for strong winds. And you see, from St. Louis going north, basically that is where the level 3 threat area has been identified by the Storm Prediction Center. In other words, the ingredients that would be needed for severe weather appear to be coming together most likely in those areas. So the probabilities of seeing severe storms are higher. We're thinking around 7 o'clock until 2 a.m. Now, we may still adjust that a little bit as we go into the next couple of days, as we kind of fine-tune the timing and as the models get a better handle on the situation. Strong wind, hail, certainly the potential for a tornado. But again, we're leaning more towards this being more of a wind threat, and not for everybody. You know, we're not going to have, we don't think we're going to have one solid line of severe thunderstorms. Odds are we'll have a line of broken thunderstorms or a line that has embedded really strong thunderstorms, and then, you know, not everybody gets severe weather. But right now, we don't know. And so the big point is just to check back for updates and stay updated on it. The reason we do the weather impact alerts so you can, you know, be aware of changing weather that could have some big impacts. This certainly has that potential. And I think in central Illinois, unfortunately, the bullseye for greater intensity of storms is right there in the central portions of Illinois. Again, like it was last week. Again, you see this line. This is one of the high-resolution computer models. It's not a solid line. It rolls on through during the evening hours, and then after midnight, most of the line pushes to the south. The front then stalls out. So why are we concerned about severe weather? And again, that's just one representation of what might happen. So you see the shaded areas on the map here. When you're getting up into the darker reds and then go to that fuchsia, you're talking about a lot of available energy. This is essentially like taking a bottle of soda, shaking it up, and it's, you know, without taking the lid off, you know what's going to happen once you shook it up. You take that lid off and boom. So this is where we are. We have, if you will, a shaken soda bottle here. There's a lot of available energy. At least potential energy. Now you see all these arrows moving across here and on the move. Those are the upper level winds. We've added that on there. So those are the winds aloft. So far this month, even though we've had some severe weather threats and we've had some stronger storms at times, most of the wind fields have not been all that strong. This is a different scenario. There are strong winds aloft, and they spread over our region and over into Illinois and Indiana. And because we have this looking more like a May or late April pattern, you know, you combine these ingredients where you have the energy and the winds aloft that are that strong, and you bring a front in there to add the lift to the atmosphere, and you're really looking at the ingredients coming together for severe weather. Now, on Tuesday, we have the first of a couple of cold fronts. The one on Wednesday is the more impressive cold front. The one that comes in here for Tuesday gives us a few showers, maybe some thunderstorms down to the south of St. Louis. It's unlikely this is going to be a big deal for us tomorrow. If it rains at your house, it shouldn't be much and it won't last long. Quiet for Tuesday night into early on Wednesday morning. Temperatures are in the 60s early Wednesday morning. As we go through the morning hours, there will be showers and thunderstorms somewhere in the central portions of Illinois. They may try to drop into some of our northern counties. Think here up towards Farmersville, up towards Litchfield, over towards Nokomis, maybe into Vandalia, maybe over towards Flora. That's going to be what happens during the midday hours and the late morning hours north and northeast of St. Louis. How that impacts what happens later in the day remains to be seen, but here comes the cold front. As we head into the evening, you see the embedded storms here along this broken line. Go a little bit farther. The storms try to break up, but where's the strongest storm looking like on this simulated radar? It's over our northern counties here, and that's over by Vandalia. So we're not saying that it's going to be exactly like this, but the winds are stronger going north of St. Louis. All the other ingredients being the same, that would tend to lend us to believe that the greatest threat is north of St. Louis. But we'll have to watch the entire area for the potential as that front comes in because the ingredients are in play. With that in mind, the Live Radar 24/7 is always streaming on the 5 on Your Side app. On this app, you can get that Live Radar anytime, and that is your QR code for any smart device you have to get that app. Now, it is quiet in St. Louis tonight for sure. It's been a beautiful night to open up the Muni season. Very comfortable temperatures. We've dropped back after topping out in the upper 70s into the lower 70s. Some of our outlying areas already sliding back into the 60s. Mainly clear skies now, and that'll be the case most of the night. Some clouds are up to our north and west ahead of that cold front coming in. We'll watch for that as we head into tomorrow morning. 78 was the high today, 58 was the low. Those numbers are below average for this time of year. It did not feel like a typical summer day in St. Louis. And honestly, that's a nice thing. Mostly clear, although we will have some clouds starting to increase late tonight north of St. Louis. Winds will be light out of the southwest. Sun setting tonight at 8:28. 5:36 is your sunrise time tomorrow. Here's the deal with tomorrow. There is a chance in the morning of a shower. There's also a chance we get a spot thunderstorm in there in the afternoon. Again, most of that is probably going to be low impact in general. We should be close to 80 degrees for the high temperature tomorrow. We go into the next 10 days, and really our biggest focus, there's two things to focus on here. The one that's imminent is our weather impact alert for Wednesday evening. Okay, and the potential that we're going to see some of those stronger storms and maybe some severe weather. Damaging winds is number one on the list for the severe weather threat. Close to 90 for the high. It'll feel warmer with the dew points close to 70, so it's going to be warm, muggy, but it is pretty windy outside of any thunderstorms. Cooler on Thursday, then we'll have a chance of more showers and thunderstorms, especially along and south of I-70. Friday and Saturday, quiet. The next attention maker here, an attention getter, if you will, is going to be Saturday night into Sunday and Monday. The shower and thunderstorm chances appear to be fairly widespread at that point and also appear to have the potential of producing some heavier rain. You notice after Wednesday, all of these temperatures are right at or perhaps just a little bit below average. So they're not especially warm. We are going to be in the 80s for highs and overnight lows in the 60s. So we're not looking at any kind of massive heat as we head through the next several days outside of Wednesday's 90. I wouldn't call that massive. So that's the very latest we have for you. Quiet night in St. Louis. Think we'll be off to a quiet start tomorrow. Here's hoping Wednesday we'll get you some more information on that. But here's hoping that we don't end up being at the bullseye of the worst of that. But again, it remains to be seen.